Sign 1. Constant criticism disguised as jokes. It often starts innocently enough, a light jab here, a playful nudge there, all wrapped up in laughter. You might hear phrases like, "I'm just joking," or "Can't you take a joke?" At first glance, it seems harmless, even friendly. But beneath the surface, there's often an undercurrent of irritation or judgment masked by humor. Stoicism teaches us to face life head-on, valuing honesty and clarity above all else. So when someone repeatedly points out your flaws, even with a smile, it's crucial to see it for what it truly is, a subtle form of disrespect. Why does this matter? Because consistently tolerating these veiled jabs can slowly erode your self-esteem. Each joke chips away at your confidence and respect. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward reclaiming your dignity. Stoicism empowers us to preserve our inner peace by setting clear boundaries and addressing these moments with honesty. When someone crosses the line, it's not about overreacting but standing firm and demanding the respect you deserve. The next time you find yourself at the punchline of a joke, pause and ask yourself, does this remark respect me, or does it diminish me? If it's the latter, it's time for a direct conversation about boundaries and mutual respect. Sign 2. Ambiguous compliments. These are the backhanded compliments that seem more like insults in disguise. On the surface, they appear flattering. Comments like, "Wow, you actually pulled it off," or "I didn't expect you to succeed, but good job." They sound positive, but there's always a sting that leaves you feeling unsettled. Stoic philosophy emphasizes sincerity and clarity in our relationships. And when faced with an ambiguous compliment, it's important to recognize that such remarks often reveal more about the giver than the receiver. These comments expose insecurities, judgments, or hidden contempt, and when we accept them without question, we risk endorsing their skewed perceptions of us. Stoicism encourages us to uphold virtue and integrity in our interactions, fostering an environment of honesty and respect. The next time you receive an ambiguous compliment, reflect on the motivation behind it. You don't need to confront the person immediately, but you can gently ask, "What do you mean by that?" This opens the door to a more authentic conversation and reinforces your commitment to clarity and respect in every interaction. Sign 3. Social exclusion. Have you ever felt that gut-wrenching pang when you realize you weren't invited to a gathering everyone else seems to be talking about? That sinking feeling of being left out, despite believing you're part of the group, can be a sign that someone isn't as invested in the relationship as it may seem. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from within, not from external validation. When you're excluded or left out, it's essential not to internalize it or let it shake your sense of worth. Instead, recognize that while you can't control others' actions, you can control your response. Social exclusion often reflects the values or priorities of the other person, not a measure of your own value. The Stoic practice of focusing on what you can control, your responses, attitudes, and decisions, helps you maintain peace even in the face of rejection or isolation. The key is not allowing external circumstances to disrupt your sense of identity or alter your course. True friendships are built on respect and shared values, not popularity or inclusion in every social circle. Recognizing these subtle signs isn't about becoming cynical or distrustful. It's about understanding that not all gestures are what they appear to be on the surface. Stoicism encourages us to be mindful of these dynamics so we can navigate relationships with greater wisdom and clarity. By focusing on what truly matters, authenticity, respect, and inner peace, you can cultivate relationships that enrich your life while gracefully distancing yourself from those that don't align with your values. As we continue on this journey toward deeper wisdom and self-awareness, remember, it's not about spotting fake friends, but about creating a life filled with genuine connections that honor your true self. Stand firm, trust your discernment, and know that the path to authentic relationships begins with clarity and self-respect. When you constantly feel overlooked in group plans, it's not just about missing out on the fun. It's about feeling like an afterthought, as though you're no longer a meaningful part of the circle. Those seemingly innocent remarks, "Oh, we thought you were too busy," or "Oops, I must have forgotten to send the invitation might come across as lighthearted quips, but beneath their surface lies a deeper undercurrent of feeling excluded. It's not just about missing an event. It's about the message that can leave you questioning your significance. From a Stoic perspective, external events don't hold power over us. It's our response to them that shapes our experience. Stoicism teaches us to look inward and focus on what is within our control, our reactions and emotions, rather than trying to change others' actions. Social exclusion, whether intentional or not, presents an opportunity for introspection. Are we truly being excluded, or are we interpreting oversights as personal slights? And if it is deliberate, perhaps it's time to reassess the health of those relationships. Instead of allowing feelings of hurt to fester, Stoicism encourages addressing these situations with clarity and calm. Open, honest communication without accusations can pave the way forward. For instance, saying something like, "I noticed I wasn't included in last week's meeting, and it made me feel a bit left out. Can we talk about what happened?" Opens dialogue and clears the air. This approach not only helps clarify your standing in social dynamics, but also reinforces your self-worth. Relationships built on transparency, respect, and understanding are the ones that endure. In the long run, Stoic wisdom reminds us that inclusion should never be forced. The goal is to nurture authentic, reciprocal connections that naturally value and honor your presence. These genuine bonds foster social harmony and ultimately cultivate inner peace. Have you ever noticed how some friends always seem too busy when you suggest hanging out, yet somehow find time for others? The recurring refrain of, "I'm swamped," or "let's catch up next time," might leave you wondering, is their packed schedule a legitimate constraint or merely a convenient excuse? This ambiguity can sting, especially when you genuinely cherish the relationship. Stoicism teaches us not to let others' actions disturb our inner tranquility. While we cannot control someone else's priorities, we can control how we respond. Rather than taking it personally, it's crucial to turn inward and recognize that another person's behavior does not define your worth. If this pattern is affecting you, it's worth addressing directly. A simple, non-confrontational approach, such as, "I've noticed it's been tricky to find time to hang out. Could we set something up that works with your schedule?" can help clarify the situation. This allows you to assess whether the issue stems from time constraints or reflects something deeper about how they value the relationship. Keeping a sense of humor during the conversation can lighten the mood while still conveying your feelings. For example, joking, "Should I book a slot 2 months in advance?" keeps things friendly but subtly expresses your desire to connect. Stoicism doesn't advocate passivity in the face of mistreatment. It urges thoughtful, proactive engagement, ensuring our relationships aren't merely tolerable, but meaningful and mutually respectful. This signal may be subtle, yet can be equally revealing. When someone consistently avoids even the smallest form of physical contact, a handshake, a casual pat on the back, it may hint at discomfort or emotional detachment. Their jokes about not being a hugger or better not get too close might initially seem harmless, but they could mask a deeper reluctance to connect on a personal level, leaving you feeling emotionally distant or even rejected. Stoicism teaches that we cannot impose our expectations on others. Everyone has their own comfort zone, and that's perfectly acceptable. What matters is how we respond. If someone maintains physical distance, it's important to consider the broader context. Is their behavior consistent with how they interact with everyone, or is it specific to their interactions with you? If it's the latter, it may be worth addressing gently. You might say, "I notice you don't seem too fond of handshakes. Is that just your style, or is there something I should be mindful of?" This approach honors their boundaries while gently inviting understanding. The key takeaway here is that physical distance doesn't have to lead to emotional disconnection. By acknowledging someone's limits and seeking clarity, you can nurture an open and respectful relationship that values both personal space and emotional connection. In every one of these situations, Stoicism reminds us that true growth stems from how we choose to respond, not from the actions of others. These moments of discomfort can transform into opportunities for deeper reflection, stronger boundaries, and more meaningful relationships. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, responses, and respect for ourselves, we turn challenges into pathways for personal growth and emotional maturity. Stoicism unites understanding with resilience, cultivating stronger and more enduring connections. When we openly discuss our feelings and concerns, we create an opportunity to overcome misunderstandings and foster deeper connections. Stoicism encourages us to detach from fleeting feelings of rejection and instead focus on proactive communication and personal growth. Each interaction offers a chance to learn not only about others, but also about ourselves, strengthening our relationships in ways that honor both boundaries and individual preferences. It's easy for friends to show up during your triumphs, during the joyful moments when everything seems to be going well. However, the true test comes when things get tough. It's one thing for them to celebrate your victories, but when the going gets rough, do they stand by you or fade away? Excuses masked as humor, like, "I'd love to help, but I always seem to make things worse, don't I?" Or, "I guess I picked a bad time to go on vacation." May sound lighthearted, but they often conceal a deeper truth. When you needed support the most, they weren't there. Stoicism teaches us the importance of relying primarily on ourselves, cultivating an inner resilience that can weather life's fluctuating challenges. Yet, this philosophy also acknowledges that humans are inherently social beings. We thrive in community, and the support of others is a crucial part of our well-being. When friends trivialize their absence during difficult times, it becomes an opportunity to reflect on the true nature of these relationships. Are they fair-weather friends who disappear when things get tough, only to reappear when it suits them? Realizing this isn't about assigning blame. It's about understanding who you can truly count on. You can address this kindly by expressing your feelings without accusations. "I noticed I haven't seen much of you during this tough time. It's been really hard, and I could really use your support." This opens the door to a productive conversation, giving the other person a chance to explain and perhaps adjust their behavior. Stoicism doesn't encourage passive acceptance. It urges us to act thoughtfully and in alignment with our values. If loyalty and support matter to you, it's entirely reasonable to seek relationships that reflect those qualities. In doing so, you honor both your needs and the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature, forming and maintaining relationships that genuinely nourish us. Perhaps nothing cuts deeper than discovering that someone you trust has been gossiping about you behind your back. It might be brushed off as no big deal, with phrases like, "I was just sharing about your little mishap. I hope you don't mind," or "We were just laughing about that crazy thing you did." But make no mistake, if it's about you, it matters. Gossip, even when cloaked in humor, can damage reputations, erode trust, and leave emotional scars. Stoicism teaches us the value of virtue and integrity, urging us to approach such situations with grace and perspective. While it's easy to react impulsively to such behavior, Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and responses. You can't control what others say about you, but you can control how you respond. If you discover someone has been gossiping about you, it's essential to address it directly with the person involved. This doesn't have to be confrontational. It can be as simple as saying, "I heard you shared something about me that wasn't meant to be public. Can we talk about what happened?" This approach embodies the Stoic principles of honesty and direct communication. Encountering gossip can also serve as a powerful opportunity for personal growth. It challenges your resilience and invites you to practice forgiveness, understanding, and empathy, core tenets of Stoic ethics. Everyone makes mistakes, and often people speak without thinking. The goal isn't merely to correct misinformation or halt the spread of rumors, but to foster a culture rooted in transparency and respect within your relationships. In Stoic philosophy, looking beyond surface-level actions is essential. Understanding why people engage in gossip often reveals deeper motives, such as insecurity, jealousy, or the desire for social influence. Recognizing these underlying causes empowers us to respond with empathy, addressing the root of the issue rather than just its symptoms. This aligns seamlessly with the Stoic practice of examining the ethical and emotional foundations behind human behavior. Ultimately, dealing with gossip isn't just about safeguarding reputations. It's about cultivating a life where sincerity and integrity take center stage. It's about leading by example, creating an environment where honesty, respect, and trust can flourish. Whether navigating the intricacies of friendships or confronting the challenges posed by gossip, Stoicism encourages us to act with purpose. Every interaction, every challenge, becomes an opportunity for growth, both personally and relationally. By staying grounded in our values and focusing on what we can control, we build relationships that are not only enjoyable, but deeply supportive. In the end, Stoic wisdom teaches us that our relationships should mirror who we truly are, and it's in these authentic connections that we find genuine peace and fulfillment. Thank you for joining me today in exploring Stoic wisdom and its application to everyday interactions. If this discussion resonated with you, I encourage you to continue the journey of self-discovery and authentic connection. Live with integrity, respond with grace, and always strive to build relationships that honor your true self.